Hello everyone, I am going to be having a go at this witchy picture today. This is from Seasons by Hanna Karlzon, and it is also in her Grains of Gold book, so if you have that compilation book then you will find it there as well. Now I have been asked to do hair from a Hanna Karlzon book, so we have the opportunity here with our witch. Now I do hair in a few different ways. I'm not sure which way the person wanted, but I'm just going to have a go. Now I'm using Faber Castell Polychromos. I sometimes use Prismacolor in Hannah's books. I find they work really well, but actually her paper's lovely, works with lots of pencils. I've grabbed my brown ochre and I'm going to go all over the hair in the brown ochre to start with. I'm just starting with the hair because that's what I've been asked to do. Now, there are, what am I trying to say? There are lots of different ways of doing hair. I'm just going to show you this particular method, and you do it however you wish. Now, I'm doing it brown. Now, our witch, she may not have brown hair. I often do witches with black hair, with green hair, any colour hair, but not really conventional hair, but why not? Also the skin tones. Now, I tend not to do skin with Polychromos. I don't really have the best skin tone pencils, but we're just gonna see how we go and black it really. I might not use the same pencils all the way through, but I know that messes with some people's heads. We'll just see how we go. My plan is to just do the hair really, but I think you'll probably want me to do the whole page. So we'll see. I'm a little bit on edge, you can probably tell. I'm just having a think. I'm waiting for messages from the children, and I've just had some news which I think you may have heard me say that I had been doing less videos during September because I was going to be having some work done on the house. I've just found out that that's going to be starting on Wednesday the 4th of October, so they've been a bit delayed. It's some work on the outside of the house, on the balcony, which I'm having the balcony replaced. So it's not going to completely disturb me, but it's going to be noisy, and the balcony is right outside the window of the room that I record in. So what that means is I'm probably going to have to go back to 2 videos a day for a little while. I had thought I was going to have to do it for the whole of September anyway because of that situation, but I didn't have to because they didn't start. So I'm sort of thinking, what am I going to do? But I'm going to just, I'm going to have to just do what I can do really. So I'm going to record all weekend, not all weekend, a few videos over the weekend. I've come in to do this one today when I wasn't actually going to necessarily do any more today. But we'll just, I'll just see how it goes really. And hopefully I'll be able to get at least 1 a day for you. But 2 a day is probably out of the question now for a while. So I'm basically got to sort of get enough done for next week quite quickly. I do have next weekend I suppose, but weekends are family time really, Right, so I've now got a basic colour down on the hair. It's quite messy. It's it's not particularly special at the moment. Now there are 2 ways I can go from here with hair. I either cover up all the black with white pen and then do lots of individual strands of hair, or I do a sort of darker bit here, darker here, lighter here to make it, and darker under here to make it look more textured in a sort of different way. So sort of here making this bit darker and this bit lighter. I'm going to go down the white pen route because that works better with Polychromos, which is what I'm using. So my next step is to grab a white pen. This is the Jelly Roll 10, and I'm going to go over every black line and attempt to cover it over a bit. Now this is never an exact science, it never works for me perfectly. I get bits of black left behind, I get chip off bits of white once I start applying pencil over the top, etc. And also once I white out a bit of a page, I tend to feel that the rest of it needs whiting out as well. I'm not going to do that though, there's too much going on. Just realised that in there should be some colour as well. I'm going to do that after. I'll do it now actually while I remember. Trying not to colour over the white. You see how it's already coming off because I've coloured over it. So the idea is to put this on and to give it a moment to dry. Now white pen, how long does it take to dry? Well, if I've done it on a page and I finish the page, I never shut the book for quite a while. Overnight I leave it because I just want to be absolutely sure I don't ruin the page facing it. However, if you want to then colour over it, I think it probably only takes about 5 minutes to be honest. We have cat's whiskers, which is going to be a bit of a challenge for me. Anyway, now I've looked at Witch's hat and just an aside while I'm doing this, and I think it'd look really nice in black and brown, sorry, like a sort of brown sack colour, but her hair is going to be brown, so that's not going to happen. So I'm not sure, but anyway, that I can show you actually what I'm trying to do hair wise. Try and do it like this. That's my aim today, to make it look like that. So we've got quite a lot of steps to go yet. So and because she's a witch, maybe you think she shouldn't have this colour hair, but as I was saying before, you could copy this but use shades of green or purple. You know, you don't have to do it in browns. But I don't see why she has to have a strange colour hair just because she's a witch. I bet not all witches have strange coloured hair. I bet a lot of them have grey hair. So anyway, I sometimes do them with black as well. Black hair looks quite nice. I did just been colouring one actually, and I did her with grey. It might have been easier to have done the skin first and the background and everything else, but just concentrating on this. I've just got it in my head that this is the bit that I'm doing. So this is the bit that I'm doing. Now, because we've got lots of strands in the hair, as you could see from the picture that I showed you, it means that if we've got bits of white or black that don't cover over very well, it doesn't matter at all because they'll just look like they're some of the strands of the hair sort of all mixed in. So that's fine, but and I find it worked quite well. But that's a completely different type of hair to this, in the way it's laid. It's sort of in the picture, but we'll have a go. Let's see what happens. Yeah, sometimes I do hair in a much more basic way, but this isn't difficult. It's just time consuming. So we'll see how it turns out. But you can already see she's got a softer look to her from that. I'm just checking my messages quickly. They're fine. One of my boys has just left uni. He's getting the train, but he's left really early. I guess they've just finished. He likes to just be at the station. He quite enjoys sitting at the station, people watching, train watching. I don't think his train is coming in for, actually it's 2:05. His train's at 3:15. By the time he gets there, he would have normally been able to get a train an hour earlier, but it's not running today, that one. So anyway, he'll be all right. At least he'll get home. My other son is, he has a train that he can get, but he'd have to change, and his dad's worried. His dad's going to go and pick him up. So he's happy. He saves him a walk as well. Oh, there's another bit there I missed. Look. Or is that a bit of clothing that I've just... Is that a bit of a top? Oh, we'll do it his hair. they're just there. I don't think it is hair actually, I think I've messed that up. But you won't notice. Well, you might. We'll see what happens. Not going to stress about colouring. Stressing enough about my kids getting home. This is just a book. And if this video goes horribly wrong, I can just delete it and you'll never know that I made it. I've only done that once ever. And I don't know what happened. Something weird went on. And I had to reshoot it. But it doesn't. In all the videos that I've made, this only happened once. It's quite amazing. Although I just shot 2 videos, I'm not going to show you. Having said that, I'm trying to do a channel intro video where I talk at the camera. Now, talking at the camera is something that's quite alien to me. It's not something I normally do, and which is fine. I've got over my nerves of doing that, but I need to. My son said you can't keep saying all the time, you need a script. I was like, okay. So I wrote a script, I propped it up just to the side of the camera, and I recorded. So now when you watch the video, you can very sharp pencil, bistre. All you can see me is looking to the side the whole time reading my script. So here we go, bistre. So it's not ideal. Stripes. I'm trying to go over the white. It's not really working. I'm just going to do whatever works. So yeah, it was a bit of a disaster. So I'm not sure. I can see now why on auto cues they actually scroll the words up on the lens. So you're looking directly into your lens as you're reading your script. I don't have that sort of technology, so I'm not really quite sure what I'm going to do. I could learn my script off by heart, but I think I would still and ah, which my son reckons, I mean, I do that all the time, obviously, but he thinks that I did it a bit too much when I just made it off the cuff. Also, the lighting was appalling. So that's another thing I need to figure out, but I'm getting there step by step. This is my second attempt actually, so I was lying when I said I never throw away a video. The other one I tried, yeah, that's what you said, too much umming and ahhing. So you can see I'm just scribbling into my hair. And you can see it's already chipping off a lot of white. Not worrying about that. We can always reapply the white if we think it needs it later. There we go. Now a darker colour again. I think I will go for this one. This is the Van Dyke Brown. Really sharp again. It's the fact that it's so sharp is why it's chipping off the paint a bit. But it's okay, because if we can see a bit of black, that's fine. I'm going to put a bit of black in it anyway. And basically at this stage, you can add as many layers of colour as you wish. You can stop quite quickly, or you can keep reapplying the same colour if you just want it to look the same colour. But I think the more you add, the sort of thicker and glossier the hair can look, which can be quite nice. So we'll see. Oh, my son's getting annoyed again. He's in his computational maths lecture. This is my other one, not the one that's running for train. He said, someone just said, computers can't do addition. He's like, that's fundamentally wrong. Yes, they can. But he's funny. I've got no idea whether he's right or teacher's right, I don't know. But he was just telling me how you have to, it's just expected that you know how to do basic calculus to do the degree in computer science. I'm thinking, wow, what about all those poor people who, I guess they're expected to have maths? But he's done A-level maths, which covers calculus. You don't do it at GCSE, which is if you stop maths, basically if you'd given up maths after 16, you wouldn't know this. You wouldn't know it. I hope you can see how it's beginning to develop and build and thicken. Walnut brown next. Again, nice and sharp. Just covering. Now this time I'm going to try to cover the white and the black. If you go outside of the lines here, it doesn't matter because you've covered the lines up. So actually going just outside them could be good because we haven't done a background yet, and it would just incorporate that white / black bit into the hair. Now it might seem finicky, but if you think about hair, it is made up of individual strands. I'm just going to put a little layer across the edge of the hat there though. So adding in all these strands sort of makes sense. And if you are doing hair like green hair or whatever, purple, if you start with if you're doing polychromos for example, if you start with your what's it called? Violet, then your purple violet, you can move to mauve, you can put in some delft blue, some blue violet, you can then maybe even put in some black or some grey, some dark blues, you know, or you could start with a pink base and work from there, or a light green, like a light phthalo green, build up with some emeralds, some mid phthalo greens, fire green, oxide green fiery, whatever it's called. Dark phthalo green, you could use some hookers green, some deep cobalt green, you know, just add in, get darker and darker, and again you could put in some black or some grey if you want to. Obviously you need to be quite careful once you start adding black and grey, because if you do too much you could end up overwhelming things. But it can all sort of help to build up the hair and make it look bushy and with lots of different colours in it, which I think is quite attractive. Oops. Went out the lines massively there. And you could also use this for fur, animal fur. Right, dark. Let's grab some dark sepia. Now we need to be a bit careful here, we're going really dark. We still want to see some of our lighter parts of the hair through, but we can use the dark sepia for adding some shadow into our hair. So where it's on the edge of the hat here, it would be darker. So I'm just adding tiny strands of this just to try and give the impression that there's some shadow under the hat, just there. And then we've got a bit under here where the cat is. Could put a bit there, or even above the cat. He's a cute cat, isn't he? And then here where it's nestling on her shoulder, and also here where it's overlapping itself. Put a bit along there. And here, like that. I think that's probably it. Now the white edges are still quite prominent. Now I find with white pen it's quite difficult to hide it, particularly when the light shines off it and things like that. But I'm going to go over a few of the white strands with this sepia. Just try and knock them back a bit. It might make them look a bit too black. But I'm doing it quite gently because I don't want big black streaks in my hair. Well, in my hair might be quite welcome, it's got a lot of white. But I mean in my witch's hair, of course. Also, we're using this to try and create some sort of shadow, so we don't want to take from that completely by just randomly putting it everywhere. Just doing, you know, a few finishing touches really. I'm a little bit reluctant to do her skin with Polychromos, but I think I will have a go. Now usually when I do skin tone, if I use my Prismas, I start with a beige and then I add peach. With these pencils we haven't got the same sorts of colours. Now I could just cheat. I'm just got to go and answer my son's question. Hang on a minute. Right, sorry, he just needed me to look something up for him, nothing exciting. Right, skin. Now I'm just having a little look. We've only got a little bit. I am going to start with this colour, which is called the Light Flesh on my pencil, but has changed its name to Beige Red. Now I would ideally, as I said before, let's come in a bit closer. If I was doing with Prismacolor, I'd start with beige, but we don't have any beige in the right tone for this. But I always feel it's a bit pinky red for my liking, but I'm going to go over all the skin with this to start with, around the earring, and then we'll get playing with it really. Now what I find with Hanna's books is that although she draws on a bit of the face, there's not very much detail, so you have to add it in yourself with regards to trying to add a little bit more shape. Now with the side facing one it's a little bit simpler, I think, but I'm thinking, you know, normally we would have a bit, this chin might stick out, we'd have shadow under the jawline, the nose would have some shadow down here and under the eye. So I'm going to put that in with this light pencil. I'm just going to sharpen it because it's really blunt, and then just show you and hope that it's going to work. So under the chin here, under the lips, I think would be a bit dark. We have a cleft in there, and then it's a bit darker along the jawline here. But that bit of the chin tends to stick up, so not put much there. Now under the eye, a bit dark, which also goes down this part of the nose, there'll be some shadow. And underneath. But now the cheek, I've done that wrong. You have to decide, you can either colour your cheek in quite dark, or leave it light. Now some people like to blush the cheek. I tend not to. I tend to go under it with a bit of colour like that, so that you can see the shape of the cheekbone. That's how I tend to colour them, but it's up to you. I'm thinking I'm going to be a bit darker here and at the bottom of there. Now that's just a very basic bit there. Now under the ear here, I have a bit of shadow, and under the earring, around the hair, and inside the ear it's going to be dark. Now, under this jawline we'll have shadow. Now of course our shadow won't all be in this colour, so we can mark in some shadow in some other colours in a bit. But what I'm going to do, actually I haven't got, there is a bit empty of colour. Now we need to think about what colours we're going to add. Now often in the in Prismas I sometimes add a bit of a burnt ochre. I'm going to do that very gently. So burnt ochre. Now, thinking about why it's really shadowy. I've got really dark under my eye. Might not be this case for everyone. My son's whinging about his teacher. It's the same teacher he had on Monday, and he was doing principles of programming. Apparently she said you have a strong password, so it's difficult to brute force it. He says that's just plain wrong. To be honest, I thought that was right, but what do I know? So we've got a bit more shape in the face. Now I'm going to grab a grey to do a bit of shadow under the chin. I think a warm grey makes more sense than a cold grey on sort of skin. Now one tip, huge tip, this is how I learn. Look at photos of faces. Now you can look at photos of this particular picture. This is warm grey 5 complete to help you if you wish, or look at photographs of people or people that just look at people to see how they look. That's how I learn them best, is by looking at pictures. I can't make things up in my head very well. I can't bring up images, so I can't imagine how things might look. So I have to rely a bit on photos, and I find that quite handy. So I'm just putting in the shadows with this grey, just a little bit of subtle work. Now the nose is looking far too plain for me, but I'm going to put the lipstick in next, or the lips and the eyes. That really helps to bring it to life and helps me to get a better feel for what's going on. And I don't want her to have really bright lips. I mean, I'm just thinking about that lip colour. Are we going to have it green? Are we going to have it purple or pink? I think I'll just do it in a conventional colour. I'm fairly pale. I'm going to use this colour. This is actually called dark flesh, or salmon, but I rather like it. That's why I'm choosing it. If I was going to put on some lipstick today, maybe it would be this colour, maybe it wouldn't. Who knows? So I just put a light layer on first, and then think. Sometimes you can leave a little white bit on the lips for shine, but it depends whether you want to make her look like she's got natural lips or lipstick. And with Hannah you have to guess a little bit, but you can take that curl up a bit to make her smile, which I think I've done a bit. She looks a little bit wistful otherwise, so there she is. She still does really. Her eye I want to be green, why not? She's a witch. Emerald green, my father-in-law has. I've just realised we've missed a whole bit of skin, haven't we, in there. My father-in-law has green eyes. He's not a witch. Emerald green. It's quite a small eye, so I'm just filling it in really with emerald green. Now we're back to our light flesh or beige red. So let's get this bit filled in here first. There, that's better. Now I'm going sort of over the top to just try and blend up some of this colour, darken it a little bit in places, and just bring it all together, as I said, repeating myself for no apparent reason. Now where we've left this gap, we want it to be smaller than that. This looks quite pale, doesn't it? There we go. I think she looks fine. Now we might as well, while we're nice and close in, do the earring, just because we're right there and I might forget otherwise. Let's do a sort of fake silver effect because it's fun. I'm going to grab the Paynes grey. It's quite dark, you'll need to be a little careful. So start here, you can be as dark as you like in here, and then light, dark, and then light. Leave a gap here for shine, make it look like it's silver, like that. Same with the pendant, go round and then leave a little white bit in the middle. You can use white gel pen if that hasn't quite worked for you, but that's okay. Now we do have these freckles. I'm never sure what to do with those. Sometimes I wipe them out, sometimes I just leave them. I have got no idea. I think I'm just going to leave them today. Now, let's come out a little and have a look at her. We have got a hat to do. Now, I rather like doing purple or green. Let's have a quick look at what we've got going on in the picture. I'm thinking, yeah, let's do green. Let's do green hat. So I'm going to start with a really dark colour on the edge and then go lighter. So this is the deep cobalt green. I want bluey greens. For me, bluey greens sort of say Halloween really. So I tend to start on the edges like this with a fairly dark bit and then just fade it a bit in like this. Just keep fading. Try and keep it smooth-ish so you don't get a line from dark to light. And do the same all the way up here. We don't need to do it quite so much because this is a thinner part of the hat. Right, that's sort of, I want to make sure it's quite dark on the edge, so I'm just going to go back round, do a little more, because this would sort of be shadowy, I think. Like that. And now I'm thinking the light's going to be hitting this top edge, so I'm just going to do a really light line just around the top here, just to sort of define that edge, but not put in too much depth. And we can always come back and add more in later if it needs it, but it's harder to take it away. Right, now we're going to do our next colour. I'm going to move to the chrome oxide green fiery. Okay, and I'm going to go over the top of this that I've done already, and then just bring the colour further along the brim of the hat. I'd say this bit's quite big, so we've got quite a lot of area to colour, so just keep bringing it forward like that. Trying to make it evenish, in this sort of evenish fade, and then the same all the way up. It's a bit unfortunate that my son's got the same teacher for 2 modules, that he's not finding very good. It might be that he's wrong and she's right. But, he's not had that trouble with anybody else. So, I think these are feathers in the hat, but I'm not entirely sure. Now if you've done your hair green, don't do your hat green. These are the sorts of colours I would use for hair if I was doing it green. So do it purple maybe, or even black. And black's harder to shade. I mean, you could do it black and grey. Right, that's that one. Now we're going to use the emerald green, if I can find it. We used it for her eyes, didn't we? Where have I put it? There it is. Dear. Emerald green. And again, I'm going to go all over the whole thing. I find that doing that helps them to blend together better. Helps to make this bit darker because it pushes that dark pencil down into the tooth of the paper. And also adds more depth to that colour, but yeah, the most useful thing is it helps it to blend better. Now this is going to be my last colour, I think, so I need to start sort of fading it right down to make it very light by the time we get to this edge. And it's not shiny, so it's not going to have a white line or anything, but I want it to be lighter as it gets to that edge. I think that's okay. It's going to tidy it up. We'll see how it works when we've done the rest of it. I realise we've got these lines which I've been completely ignoring. We'll do something with them at the end. The good thing with the Polychromos is you can layer and layer and layer and layer and layer and layer. So it's fine. I'm just checking my children's messages. One's on foot between Union bus station, so he's not messaging me because he doesn't have hurry, walks so fast. But I'm told him there's a bus if he wants to get home a bit earlier, but I don't think he likes the bus. I think he'd rather sit at the station, but he can grab one, and buses are only £2 at the moment, so. And where the boy's still in his lesson. What time is it? 2:30. Yeah, I need to give my husband a call later too to let him know what's going on. Remind him he's going to pick my son up, and except our son, not mine, both. And yeah, see what's going on really. Hopefully he's got involved in work. That is what he's being paid to do. So we'll see. I know his boss asked him to concentrate on something today, I think. So hopefully that's what he's doing, although it's Friday, so who knows. Might be having a bit of a... They always have breakfast on a Friday morning. I think they've started having it a bit more often too. I'm just putting a light layer in all of this, and then I can just go over it and mix it up. Now if you don't like how it looks, you can keep adding more and more greens, more and more layers of green, I mean. I wouldn't add any other different shades than these. But it's, you know, it's your picture. I'm just tidying it up really, and then I'm going to put in the feathers now because colouring around them is quite messy, so I think if I put them in then it will help us. I'm not sure what colour. I'm thinking I want her hatband to match her dress. Her dress is going to be purple, so I'm going to make her hatband purple, maybe the feathers too. So this is actually mauve. Okay. Now here I'm going to have to follow the same thing, so darker here, less as we go up towards the end of the hat, so that it all works with the way the light, I feel the light is hitting it. Okay. Now the feathers, I'm going to leave the centre bit, but I'm going to make a dark line along each side of that central piece, and the same on this one. Then I'm just going to colour the tip of each, take it towards the centre and leave a tiny white bit. I do feathers. I've got better feather videos where they're bigger. I've got gold and silver feathers if that's something you fancy trying, and just normal pink feathers, purple feathers, all sorts, but these are quite small. But I'm trying to just leave a little bit of white as a sort of shine, because feathers are very often shiny. They're sort of oily from where the birds have waterproofed them, that sort of thing. So that's what I'm trying to sort of convey from my shine. I'm sorry, I'm probably shading it that way. Shadowing it, I mean, with my hand. Now I've got a lot of green on the ends of these feathers, but because the mauve is quite dark, I can eliminate that quite easily, which is rather good. There we go. Now the actual centre of the feather I'm going to do in a cold grey 3. There we go. And then I can just finish off the green around the feathers, make sure it looks right. So I'm grabbing my emerald again and just doing these bits around here. Just to get rid of that white. There should be white in the feathers, not around the feathers. There we go. Just tidy it up a bit. I think I am happy with her so far, and I think I am going to leave it there. Look at my detritus. Really shouldn't zoom out. I'm going to leave it there for today. I was thinking I might be able to fit this into just 2 videos, but I don't think I will, so I might have to have a bit of a break, plan a break or something. I'm not sure. Who knows, it might be quicker next time, but anyway, there she is for now. So thank you for watching. I hope that was okay. I'm not an expert, but I've done my best. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Have a super day, and see you next time. Happy colouring.